Hey everyone, this is Jack Bourne, founder of Deadline Funnel. Now, offering a book you've written as the first step in your Evergreen funnel is a super powerful way to establish authority right out of the gate. My next guest is here to talk about the ins and outs of his process for using a book to sell very profitable high-ticket programs. Dan Henry has sold over $10 million of his own digital products and has been instrumental in helping to create several internet millionaires. He's grown a massive following and has been featured in Forbes, Entrepreneur Magazine, Business Insider, and more. Today, Dan is founder of GetClients.com and author of Digital Millionaire Secrets. While he's proud of his success, he is even more proud of having helped thousands of entrepreneurs turn their dreams into reality. Great to have you here, Dan Henry.
Hey man, how you doing? I love your software, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. By the way, I must have gave you an old bio because we're actually over 30 million now, and the gap between 10 and 30 was because of the book. So it's cool to be able to explain that gap and why the book was so helpful.
Yeah. So let's jump into it. I know we've got a lot to cover. Why don't we start in the shallow end of the pool with the basics of a book funnel and how it's structured?
Yeah. So basically, and I apologize for the noise here. I'm in San Jose, Costa Rica, standing at my buddy's house while I'm like looking for some properties here. So the wind here is insane. But so here's the thing about the book. A lot of people have, what they call break-even offers, where you sell an offer that has some upsells, you break even on the ad spend, and then any of the products they buy after that are pure profit. That's essentially the idea in a nutshell. The idea that I had for the book was when Russell Brunson asked me to speak at FHL, and he said to me, will you speak? And I said, well, yes, but can I ask a favor? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, can I put a free book on every seat? And he said yes. And I didn't think he was going to say yes. And the thing is, I had no book at that point. So I literally closed all the windows, locked the door, and for the next 30 days, sat down and I only focused on writing this book. And within 30 days, I got the book written, edited, cover, everything, and 5,000 of them shipped to the hotel in Orlando for the event. And as a result of that, those books that went out produced about $2 million in revenue for my company. And it blew me away how it worked, how superior a book was to say like a webinar. We went back after the past 2 years and we did some data like reconnaissance. And we found that when a customer gets on the phone, after they read the book, they close 300 to 400% higher than somebody that just watched the webinar. And so what is making this so effective is not just necessarily the fact that you break even on ad spend and all that direct response jazz, but it's deeper because there's something about people that buy a book, a physical book that they hold in their hands that is special. And if you think about it, every major world religion that convinces millions and millions of people to follow and live their life according to that religion, they all persuade in the same way. A book. Even new religions, a book. Even, there's been everybody from world leaders to dictators to just everything, that the number one persuasion tool throughout history has been literature, has been a book, and it still rings true to this day. And so how we work this, or how I did it, was I created a book called Digital Millionaire Secrets. And the book shows you how to sell your knowledge online, how to be a course creator, coach, etc. When you buy the book, there's an upsell to get the audiobook. So you have the book and we do free plus shipping. So it's $10 or I believe $20 for international. And then there's I'm actually looking at my ClickFunnels account right now. There's I don't know, I think it's like $19 or something like that, upsell for the audiobook. The real secret sauce here is the upsells. Okay. And this is where a lot of people really mess up. They just think that they're going to randomly create upsells to get an average cart value, and then that's it. Right. The real trick here to upsells is not to sell somebody something just just to make the average cart value. It's to systematically sell them something that gets them to eventually buy the high ticket offer. The biggest mistake people make with high ticket offers is they make low ticket offers first, and then they make a high ticket offer. There is no purpose. There is no reason. There is absolutely nothing. There is just no need for a low ticket offer unless you have a high ticket offer. So what I believe is you create the high ticket offer first, and then you create the low ticket offer to feed the high ticket offer once you've exhausted getting people directly into the high ticket offer. And the reason I say this is because if you create the wrong upsells, you could have your customers off in Never Never Land trying to do whatever is in those upsells. It actually takes them off the path of buying your high ticket program. Your upsells need to create and move obstacles out of the way while at the same time giving value to get them straight on the path to buying the high ticket. And of course, at the same time, create an average cart value that allows you to break even on the ad spend. So just to give you an example, I'll show you here. I'll just share my screen real quick.
So while you're looking that up, I'll just mention a quick story. I'll make this brief. So when I worked on Perry Marshall's team as his marketing manager, he's shared this publicly, so this is not private, but there was a period of time, I think it was 6 to 8 months, where his Facebook account, Facebook turned off his ability to send ads. And one of the things that he shared with me is that the most, whether Facebook ads were on or off, the book buyers who came from the book were by far the most profitable clients. It was his best lead source. He said the challenge that he had, and maybe you've figured out a way around this, but the challenge that he had is that it was tough to scale it. Like, it was tough to, when someone goes to the bookstore, goes to Amazon, to make sure that your book is in front of them. But he always talked about how the best buyers for in his business, with the largest longevity, they bought the most. They bought the high ticket offers, all of those things. No matter what metric you really looked at, the people who started with a book really were the best buyers. And when his Facebook ads were shut off, it was one of the few things that really was a pillar that kept his business going.
Jack, that's a great point, because the secret to scaling this really is to have the proper upsells. So right here, you can see we have an average cart value of $40. So here's the idea here. And by the way, I've been running ads to this book for years. So this was like $100 average cart value the first 6 months that we ran the offer. Honestly, the first year that we ran the offer, it was around that. And we made like $15 million. It was nuts. So these numbers aren't as good as they used to be, because almost everybody in the industry has bought the damn book. But still, right now we're spending about I'd say, depending on the day, maybe $1,000 a day right now, and we're getting we're doing about break even. So what that means is, for anybody that's not quite understanding this, is our average cart value is $40. So as long as we spend around $40 or less to sell a book, we're good. So if we make $8,900, as long as we've spent $8,900, made $8,900, we're essentially acquiring a paying customer for free. So when they read the book, they book a call, and then they buy, it's pure profit. So to give you an idea here, here's the book. And then we have an upsell of the audiobook, which I have that converting at 31%.
Now, is that let me jump in. Is that an upsell or a bump?
I'm sorry. It's a bump. It's a bump. I have two. So I have two. I'll just show you the darn thing.
Yeah. And while you're changing your screen, I think most people will know this, but just to make sure our entire audience is on the same page, a bump is a checkbox that you tick before you've entered in your credit card details. It's sort of like, do you want fries with that? Someone hasn't made the purchase yet. The upsell is after they've made that purchase, then they go to a page and they can click the yes, I want this extra thing, and it gets like there's another charge that happens.
Right. And I mean, when you sell a book, the easiest bump is just the audiobook, which took me hours upon hours to record, but whatever.
Once it's done, it's done.
It's done. So here's the sales page. And I probably should update this because like it says 15 million, we've done 30. I mean, I just, I don't update stuff. But one thing I do is I make sure that it looks the same on mobile as it does on desktop. See how it's real skinny right here? I like to make sure that it looks the same because most people are going to be on mobile. So if it looks good on mobile, I don't really care what it looks like on desktop as long as it looks clean. And then the first upsell, and these are new upsells. I just filmed these. That's the thing. You got to always change up your upsells, in my opinion, to get that average order value up, and do different things and see the objections that people have so you can really tweak that. But for instance, this upsell, here's a little trick for you. So in my book, I have a chapter called How I Made 100K in 30 Days as a beginner. And it was about my first 6-figure month selling info products. Well, what I did was my first upsell, all I did was deep dive on that chapter. So it says How I Made 100K in my first 30 days using the 14th chapter in this book. So what I do here is I just say, listen, see, as you can see, here's this chapter in the book where I show you how to do this thing. And it's like the highlight of the book. Most people, when they buy Digital Millionaire Secrets, they always talk about this chapter. So what I did was I decided I'd do like a 1-hour video training where I broke it down like on a whiteboard, that whiteboard you see there, and that's the upsell. So the beautiful thing about writing a book is a lot of times when you're done with the book, you don't need to create anything new. You just talk about it again. So I did a 1-hour deep dive training into that chapter, made it like a 1-hour mini course, and that's the first upsell. And then the second upsell, and this one's brand new. I'm not sure how much I like it yet, but this is another thing I do where whatever that main program is that they're going to buy, I snip out a little piece of it. So for instance, in the program that we sell after you buy the book, it's called Digital Millionaire Coaching, and see how that flows from Digital Millionaire Secrets to Digital Millionaire Coaching, right? So one of the things we do is the program is basically from complete inception all the way to raising your prices to high ticket, your complete journey as a digital product seller. And so this one plucks out one of the most common problems people have, which is how to get their course done, set up in a membership area, stuff like that. Now, I know that getting your course done, putting it in a membership area, making sure that password's secured and all that, that's not going to make you a millionaire. That's just going to let people access your course. That's not really going to have any substantial impact on how much money you make. It's just solving a very simple problem that might prevent you from eventually making money, just like a basic tech thing. So this upsell is me giving you a piece of the course or a piece of the coaching program that shows you how to do that. And so what I've done here is I've given them something that helps them, but it's not going to make them a bunch of money where they don't need to buy my stuff. And at the same time, it's like a short demo of just a piece of what they would get when they buy the full program. So it allows them to sort of see what it would be like to be in that program and see my teaching style. Because a lot of times people think you need to do all this. I love storytelling. I love all that. I have copywriting courses and stuff on storytelling. That's great. But at the end of the day, sometimes if you just show the product, that's enough. And so we do that. And then on the book receipt page, it's this one actually. The book receipt page is basically, so here's what I do. Hey, thanks for grabbing. So it says, which I misspelled, important update on shipping times. Due to shipping delays from COVID, shipping may take some time. I don't want you to have to wait. So click here to get a PDF download of the book so you can begin reading now. Now, what this does is sometimes, and that is true, the shipping times are a little wonky, but what this does is this takes them to a mini chat where I get their mini chat and I basically say, here's the PDF. And I say, I'm going to remind you over the next week to read this book and get it done. Because when you read this book, you make money. And so they get daily reminders every day to read the book. Because the biggest thing about this is waiting. You see, when I put those books down at FHL, I didn't see anything for 2 months. And then all of a sudden, after 2 months, sales came in like that scene out of 300 where the guys all start rushing in. It's because people have to read the damn book. So I realized, I'm like, all right, the faster they read the book, the faster they're going to buy my high ticket product. So I try to encourage as much as possible for them to read the book as quickly as possible. So I give them many chat messages and I'm just like, hey, did you read this chapter? So-and-so read this chapter. Look what happened. Da, 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 da. Now, obviously, this is like a little just extra thing. I only put this in recently. This is not a major contributor to the 15 million we made from the book. So I'm just saying that's what's in there now. I can't really comment on how effective it is. I mean, obviously the most important thing is the book, but what I do here is I say, before you go, want personal help from my team, I have a little VSL, and for hyperactive buyers, they can fill out an application and book a call. So that's pretty much the whole funnel. And the thing about it is it's not about the funnel. It really isn't. It's about like the book. It's about the emails. It's about the messaging. It's about how you flow the customer through. But that's the essential funnel. So people go to digitalmillionairesecrets.com, they buy the book, they get the audiobook upsell, 100K, 30 days to 100K video training. Then they get the 1 week course, which shows them how to create their course in 1 week. Then they get the book receipt, which gives them so that they can read it, begin reading it now, as well as the pitch to book a call for anybody that wants to get help right now.
So one of the things, there's so many different directions we could go on this, but one of the things that I want to touch on real quickly is something you mentioned near the beginning that I think is probably the 80-20 leverage point. One of the key takeaways is that you said, if I heard you correctly, you don't want to start with a book idea and then say, okay, from this book, what's the upsell? And then try to figure out what to do from there. You want to start with the high ticket offering and then figure out backwards from that. Okay, what is the journey that they're going to take, starting with the book and then going to the upsell that's going to make them the perfect candidate for the high ticket coaching. So do I have that correct?
Yeah. So let's put it this way. If I wanted to be your average sleazy, slimy direct response marketer, I'd be like, no, you're a beginner. You don't have an offer yet. Write a book. But that's BS. Okay. You should have an established offer. You should be making money from it. You should have a business. Okay. And you should also be doing some sort of client acquisition that you've basically exhausted, meaning you're running ads, you're doing organic, you're doing something and you're getting clients, but maybe you're unable to scale because the acquisition cost is too high, whatever. Okay. You've exhausted some sort of way to get clients, because to me, when you have a high ticket offer, you should be able to get clients right now. Like if you can't get clients with just a little video to book a call, you're not going to be able to do it with a book because you don't know enough. Like if you're not good enough to do it with a webinar or a short VSL, you're not good enough to write a book. You should sit down. I mean, I'm just being honest. I just want to, I'm just being blunt. However, if you are already getting clients with any other type of marketing and it's doing okay, it's doing decent, but you really want to pour fuel on the fire, then this is it. I'll give you a perfect example. 2 years ago, I believe it was, there was a gentleman named Andy Stickle in my mastermind. And he asked me, and this wasn't something at the time that we offered, but he said, Dan, can you help me write a book? And I said, yeah, sure. So I coached him on it, and he already had an established business. And he released a book, and I just interviewed him a few weeks ago on my podcast. He's doing $1 million a month now, and that book was a huge contributor to that. And before that, he was running like webinars and stuff like that, but he never was at $1 million a month. And I will tell you that I've had multiple $1.5 million months. I've had $1 million days speaking from stage. The $1 million day I had where I made a pitch from a virtual event. Here's the thing. Here's the thing a lot of people don't tell you. They talk about virtual events. They talk about challenges. Yeah, people make money on them. But like what they don't tell you is that you'll make money on your first one. And then after that, it kind of dies down, because most of the time on the first one, all your warm traffic is there, all your warm audience is there, and you sell that, and then like it's done, right? Well, they don't tell you that because they want to sell you some crap on how to do a challenge funnel. But the truth is, when you have book buyers and you're continuously selling to book buyers, you have the ultimate warm audience. You have people that will recommend your book, and you keep feeding that. So when I do like a challenge or a 2-day virtual event, most of the people that come to that, they've read my book. And my best challenge was almost everybody that was there had read my book. I had 158 people on the challenge. I did $1,034,000 in sales in one day. And that was because they read the book, then they came to the event. And when you combine those two things, it is insane. It's ridiculous. So I'm just giving you some like fast like some fast stuff here. I don't BS like most marketers. I like to just tell you how it is. And that's the truth. And is it a lot of work? Yeah, it's a ton of work, but you're trying to make millions of dollars. You're not going to do it not doing work, but yeah, I mean, that's essentially, did I answer your question? I forgot.
Yeah. So just to recap for someone watching this, where they're like, I want to make $1 million a month, but they don't have their offer yet. Step one is not go write a book. So they need to figure out what their high ticket offer is, or like get their business up and running. Like you said it almost exactly the way that I said it. I was going to say that this is sort of the nitrous oxide you add into the car, but make a fast car go much faster. But this is if your car is up on blocks, you can't steer a parked car, right? So it's
if somebody doesn't have an offer and they want to make $1 million a month, they don't need a book or a funnel. They need therapy. they need a serious psychological evaluation. Right. I mean, that might be the eventual goal, but have that expectation is it's pure insanity. Right. This is definitely not something for somebody that does not know what they want to do with their life. They don't know what their offer is. It's for somebody who has an established offer 100%. I mean, I've sold consulting to people to write a book. And I always tell them, if you don't have your stuff together, I can't help you, because like, this is the ultimate, this is the top level. This is the most advanced form of marketing. You're not going to do that if you're like, well, I still wonder who my audience should be. Like, no, like, so, and yes, the way that you write the book is from working with clients, having those stories, understanding your market, understanding what's going on, and being able to take that experience and put it into a book. You can't just write a book out of nowhere. But here's the great part. If you've ever done ads, if you ever ran emails, if you've done all this stuff, if you've had phone conversations, if you've done webinars, you have all the elements for your book. You see, your life, your experiences, all this marketing, it's like an ingredient list. And, if you think about it, like, if you open your cupboard, you have all these ingredients, right? Well, when you go to make a meal, you don't choose all the ingredients and throw them into a pot. You choose what ingredients you need. And so the book is sort of like the best of what you've been doing the past few years. You choose the right ingredients, the best ingredients, and only the ones you need, and you put those in the book. You don't throw your whole life story, everything in the book. But in order to do that, you need to have been doing this for a little bit. You need to have been talking to customers. You need to have been working, you need
to know your market.
Yeah, right. So I can't stress enough how this is not a beginner thing. I'll give you an example. I was at $1 million a month back in the heyday when you could run ads to a 997 webinar and just sit back and relax. Well, I was spending like $700,000 to make $1 million. It was stupid. When I had $1 million months with the book, we would spend like $100,000 and do $1 million. It was stupid. And especially when we did events paired with the book. So, you're not going to get to that level not knowing what your offer is yet. That's you need to sit down and let people who've paid their dues do that. But in order to pay your dues, you got to start paying. You got to get your offer together. You got to get out there. You got to make it happen. And then when you really want to pour fuel on the fire, this book thing could be for you.
So for the folks who already have this offer and they're they want to know, how the hell did Dan create this book in 30 days? I know that you turned off all the distractions, but is there anything that you learned in the process that can help someone shortcut it, even if it's not 30 days? Because I know that to write a book for a lot of people could be a multi-year process. So what did you learn through that 30-day sprint that someone else could use to write an effective book?
Okay, so the biggest thing to write a book fast is to not try to write the book. It's to plan the book. What I did was, like, all right, if I took a moment or an experience from my life, in my head, I just say the time I did blank, right? And I took like a Trello board and I mapped out the book based on what stories I would tell at what time, based on what objections I knew customers would have, based on where I think they would, what I think they would do, or where I think they would go, at certain times, where their thought process would go as I'm telling these stories. So, excuse me, I map it all out. And once it's mapped out, and in my head, I play through how those stories would coincide. So sort of like a screenplay or like a storyboard, right? Like if you sat down to write Star Wars and you're like, all right, young whiny kid is on Tatooine. He's sick of being a farm boy. He doesn't know how to, or he wants adventure, right? And then a mentor comes along, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and says, hey, we can go on this journey and you can learn the Force. And he says, no, I need to stay home and chill with my family and help with the farm. But then he comes back and the little creatures killed his family. So now he's like, well, now I have no choice to go. Boom. All of these are like little bullet points. You map that out. You make it make sense. Then you go and write the script. Then you go and shoot it. Then you go and make the movie. Most people, they sit down and they try to just write the darn book. Imagine if George Lucas just went out to a desert and be like, all right, kids, stand there and do this. And then he didn't. And then he's like, all right, well, what's the next scene going to be? You map it out and it's in the ingredients, right? You say, I'm going to need salt, butter. I'm going to need this, that, and the other thing. Once that's done, then you cook, then you write. So I would say out of the 30, well, it took about 20 days to write the book. Out of those 20 days, I would say at least 10 of them were me sitting down and moving things around bullet point by bullet point until it made sense. Then I just sat down and told the damn story that I already knew. I put it out of my mouth onto paper. That was it. And that's how it came really fast.
Now, I know that you said that the funnel really wasn't the secret ingredient. It's the messaging, it's the book. But I do have to ask, for the people that don't make it all the way to that last page, or they don't fill in the questionnaire, the form, are there callbacks in the book? Do you use email? Like, how do you get people to, what are you using in your funnel to get people to take the next step that leads to that high ticket coaching conversation?
So, everything in the book is designed to get you to book a call. All the bonuses, all the bonuses in the book are a VSL to book a call, but they still provide value. Everything is designed to get you to book a call. Every email, every extra thing, every retargeting ad. Like once you buy that book, you're going to have to get a restraining order against me because I'm going to constantly get you to book a call. So that's what it is. Now, here's the beautiful thing. One thing I did is let me give you an example, right? We have a high ticket program that we sell that comes from that book. However, let's just say that I don't want to sell that high ticket program anymore. And I want to do something else with my life. I don't know, like right now I'm building an app. So like, let's say that app takes off and it's doing $1 million a month and my valuation is $100 million and I could give two craps about this high ticket program anymore. What I can do, and the way I designed the book to future-proof it, was I never mentioned that we sell a high-ticket program. I never mentioned what we sell in the book. I said, I kept it vague. If you need help, go here. If you want this extra bonus, go here. So at any point, I can go to those landing pages and I can change it, and I can maybe sell a low-ticket product instead and just use Deadline Funnel to do a thing and take them to an order page and sell it that way. And that way I don't have this program anymore and just sell them that. So that's the beauty. But if you pigeonhole yourself into selling a certain thing into the book, number one, it kind of comes off salesy instead of a book providing value. And number two, you pigeonhole yourself. What happens if you don't want to sell it anymore? Like I'm not going to sell the same thing forever. You know, I have growth in my brain. I want to sell something else at some point. So if I put a low ticket product that didn't require a sales team, didn't require coaching or any of that, and I just wanted to like sell that on autopilot. So when people read the book, they go to this thing and it just sells. I could do that with a couple clicks. So that is that's just one little golden nugget on how because I'm not going to sell that program forever. So does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And while you were talking, I was thinking another thing that you could do in that scenario would be maybe there's someone who sells a very tangential complementary course. So if you're going to move on to greener pastures or you're just not into it anymore, you could basically create a VSL that's essentially promoting that other person's high ticket course, and you're getting an affiliate commission or some sort of revenue share on that.
You totally could, and that's a fantastic idea. And when I meet somebody that's as good at this as I am, I will do that. But I haven't met that person. Just being honest,
Sure. Well, yeah. So I appreciate you've been brutally honest from the very beginning. So I really appreciate that. There's no punches held. Hey, I think this is probably a good stopping point for the main session. What we're going to cover, Dan is going to talk about some of the things that he's learned, the tips, the tactics, the strategies that you can use, whether it's a book funnel or not. As soon as you have that high ticket program and you have someone that you're taking through some sort of coaching call, some sort of prerequisite to get into that program, he's going to talk about what he's learned and what his team has learned in terms of turning high quality leads into buyers. So you definitely want to join us on that advanced call. So upgrade to the all access pass if you haven't yet. As a founder of Deadline Funnel, of course, there's a deadline for you to do that and to get the best deal. So if you see that timer ticking down, you need to know that it's real. Do not delay. Don't let procrastination take that away from you. So now, Dan, I know that there are going to be people who want to reach out to you, want to go check out more information about you. So where would you like them to go, and what do you have in store for them?
Well, here's what I'm going to do for you, Jack, because I'm going to be honest with you. Your software helped me make my first 10 million. We use Deadline Funnel in our automated order page funnels, and it really crushed for us. Like I said, we did about $10 million in a funnel with your software and the emails and on the pages and all that. So I'm going to do something very special for your audience. My main website is getclients.com, but we don't really use that to market. That's just like our corporate site. If you go to brandauthorityprofits.com, that's brandauthorityprofits.com. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a video on there. I have my team doing it right now. It's a recording of like, I think it was like a 1 or 2 hour webinar I did where I really broke this all down to a like insane degree. And I really went in on a whiteboard and I went deep on it. Okay. I did it as a one-time webinar. I actually charged $1,000 to attend. And then I refunded it. It was sort of this thing where I made sure you would show up. So it's really good information. I'm going to take the recording of that and I'm going to put it on that page. And then eventually I'm going to replace it with something that's a little more cleaned up, not just a recording of an event. But for now, you guys can have that. So that's brandauthorityprofits.com. You can go there right now and you can actually watch that entire training where I really break this down.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much. That'll be great. So yeah, join us in the advanced session and I'll see you guys over there. Thanks so much, Dan.
Hey man, no problem. Thank you.